Hello everyone and welcome back to Greyhammer. We're going to be doing a bit of a different build, or just a way that we're going to build. We're going to do just slightly different, kind of slightly slower, so 4 times speed instead of 8 times speed. We're doing kind of a mini build, so this will be a shorter episode. I'm hoping that because it will take me a little bit shorter to do the voiceover, a little bit shorter to do the editing, that I'll actually be able to get quite a few of these kind of edited and voice recorded over quickly, because the zoo has grown quite a lot recently. And just my ability to do 30-minute episodes could cover multiple habitats, but I figure let me just try and not overwhelm myself with doing longer ones and just try and do a shorter one. So here we are, we're going to be building for our gray fox. His name is Reynard, and it's based off of English folklore of like a trickster fox character, very similar to Robin Hood or Aesop's Fables. And so we're just kind of trying to mirror our raccoon habitat quite a bit, so there's not much crazy going on in this build. We'll do a tour of the building, of everything in the building later on. So a tour of our home invaders when we actually get finished. I'm pretty proud of this building, and you're going to see just kind of the way that it progresses, that I quite like it. And so we're kind of just building around here, and yeah, so we're doing the red fox. I think in the stream there, it was realizing that I had to end the stream, so this is from 2 different stream segments. If you do want to go and watch these happen in real time, go ahead and subscribe and take a peek at my live streams, because they definitely are where we do most of the work for these zoos. In fact, I say most of, all of the work for these zoos. And I think they're quite fun to do. And we're going to have some really nice live streams. I'm really excited about the next habitat as well. It'll be our first modded species in the zoo. It's certainly a cool one, and I think that they fit really well into this habitat. Unfortunately, the barrier was being difficult with me, but it ended up making it work. So we're going to delete all those tiles inside to save on piece count, even though we're going to cover the floor quite a bit. So while we created these, it's no longer useful. They are a bit tricky to select, but you know, I make it work in the end. Yeah, go ahead and follow my other links as well. I haven't really talked about those when they pop up. You can see all kinds of things about just news that comes out on the channel that I try and post on all those socials. So yeah, we're about to probably get started on the actual... Yeah, so we're starting on the actual habitat here, and we're gonna get some actual, like, pine bark mulch as kind of the structure, and just kind of get that blocked in, and that's going to be quite a bit of work here. And we're gonna kind of do some terraced areas, so we're kind of going with like a classic temperate forest look here, which is pretty standard across the southern states, especially in the northern parts of those areas, such as northern Alabama and northern Georgia. It tends to be a little bit more of like pine forest as you go further down south. So I didn't realize how thick these pieces are, so we're actually going to be able to use these quite nicely to create some just hill areas, because I didn't want this to be completely flat, because the raccoon habitat was pretty flat. But we can't make it super crazy. We are going to kind of align out some paths with these branch pieces. Eventually I'll figure them out, but it's just going through some of these different, how do you say it, faux rocks that I'm going to use to line these terraces, basically. So that we end up going with these kind of vine sets, which work pretty well for creating this. And so this will basically hold in the mulch. And I think I decided I wanted to see if there was a better one, because I was trying to see if there was anything more useful. We do end up using those vines. because everything else was just too thick. But it does work pretty well in my mind when we get down to it. I'm realizing this clip is taking a little bit long to get the things set in, but we're going to get the background wall put in here as well, because it's certainly a nice, kind of get us where we need to go. And I was going to use this, but it was just a little bit too, how would you say it? It didn't give us nice shapes necessarily. It was a little blocky, and so I wanted some more natural looking shapes, and so these vines are really what made it click really nicely. And so that's what we're doing here, and we gotta make sure we're not hanging off the edge. And so then we're gonna add some more of those to give us really that look of different elevations. And so this kind of maybe makes it look like it's a hillside edge habitat, so we can kind of lore-wise say that it's maybe up in some of the mountains, which you get more in central Alabama and northern Georgia, northern Alabama, and so we can use that. I really like using these concrete rocks and everything because I think it really looks like what a zoo would actually have, especially because we are more low-budget zoo. I don't want to have anything too crazy. I do go a little bit too crazy, and we do end up having to delete a lot of the pieces because the animal was not able to actually walk around. And so that was a bit of a bummer, but it ends up working pretty well for us. So yeah, just kind of getting this background. We're going to make it look a little bit more interesting with some of these trees, if I'm not mistaken. I was trying not to make it too look-alike to the raccoon, but I may have. Here I was trying to see if I could make like a dark brown color that would make it look good, but it just stood out too much from the black, or from the gray that the other rocks were. That was me trying it one more time, but I decided we're just going to go with the fake look. Of course, the habitat barriers are really close, so I should have put all this enrichment in before I put the habitat barriers in. But, you know, you live and you learn. And I probably don't really learn. It's more just live. We will fill in those terraces a little bit more in a bit, but we want to get a few plants in here. I was going to check some of the tropical plants because technically I've mentioned before that we also would be in a subtropical region, but a lot of them didn't work for this habitat besides the Spanish moss. I don't think I added that either, but some of those palms there looked good, and I didn't want to destroy the traversable terrain with the strangler fig because it definitely would. But kind of getting some Spanish moss in the background. I think I used a little bit maybe of the scaevola, but it looks like no. I ended up just going with some pretty classic pieces, what we've already done. And then we got a log in here. I'm trying to remember. I don't know if we get to keep this one because I think it blocked off too much of the area. But we will do some larger habitats eventually. Here I am just going to fill out a lot of that area because it definitely will make it look more like it's actually pushing back, sort of just that concrete is pushing the, keeping that pine bark in. And so, yeah, let's talk a little bit about red foxes. They are one of the most prevalent species in the world, especially for mammals. They're found on every continent except Antarctica. Not native to all of them, but they might be native to, I'm pretty sure there is a Barbary species of red fox that is native to Africa. But they're not native to Australia, but they are an invasive species there. So they're not very great animals to have in Australia because they do kill a bunch of marsupials. They are a great animal where they come from, though. despite the fact that there are a lot of urban legends, stories about foxes, and there is urban conflict, especially with foxes getting into chicken coops and things of that nature, and that's mainly due to when urbanization happens, or even growth of agriculture. A lot of the fox's natural prey is no longer available for them, and so they will take things like chickens and pets. They are a main predator of things like cats and small dogs, so they not nearly as bad as coyotes or great horned owls even. Great horned owls are notorious cat killers, but the red fox will take cats and chickens. And we're kind of just trying to figure out the sightlines here. But red fox is one of the more popular fox species. In Alabama, there are 2 species of fox, and in the southeast in general, there's the 2 species of fox, the gray fox and the red fox. And the gray fox is much smaller, not very closely related to the red fox, and can actually climb trees. We may have one of those in later as well. And so those are a few facts about foxes. They can be found in a lot of different environments, including forest, grasslands, and even some desert areas. But we're going with a much more lush habitat for them than that. So the red fox is pretty elusive where I live. We have seen them every once in a while, though a lot of the times they're not healthy looking. They do suffer from things like canine distemper and mange, somewhat commonly. If you do see a red fox, don't try and go pet it. If it's not afraid of you, it is possible that they have rabies, which is something you really don't want to get, because it's very difficult to treat, and if it's not treated quickly, it can be fatal. And so red foxes are they're more of a crepuscular species, so active during dawn and dusk. So if you're seeing one in the middle of the day, it doesn't necessarily mean that it has rabies. It could mean that it's having to change its behavior due to limited food conditions, but again, stay away. It is a wild animal. They do not make good pets, even though lots of people try and keep them as pets. The lore for this fox is that he is rescued from an illegal fur farm, because foxes are valued for their fur. They became a valuable commodity when Europeans were first arriving in the States. And so there are still some fur farms. I don't know if they keep foxes in some of those. I know mink is a common, but we're saying that this one, Reynard, he came from an illegal fur farm. And so we were able to rescue them with the Tri-State Zoo. And that's definitely been some cool stuff that I've been enjoying working in some lore. We do actually have some zoos that have sent us one that's excess of their animals, and we'll have some more ZSU events coming up. If you want to hear more about that, I would highly suggest going out and checking my Discord. The link will be in the description. I really think that we have a great community there, and we have a lot of fun, and you can get notifications about when my episodes go live there, or when I go streaming there. So if you really want to support me, that's probably the best way. We're going straight into the cinematics, so a really short episode, but I just want to thank y'all. If you enjoyed this content, go ahead and like, subscribe, and comment. Just let me know what you think about this habitat, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye, guys.